Oh, this is a show that we made for your mom and your dad and your aunties too. So grab yourself a coffee, it's a crack of dawn, and strap yourself in for a Heaps good morning.
It's another Heaps Good Sunday morning, and yet again we're here to delight and entertain.
And possibly inform.
Well, actually, I think that's definitely what we're doing today.
Well, I'm not.
Well, it's my job. Someone's got to do it. Today it's me.
Just getting the hair off my shirt. I've got one too.
You do. We bought this a couple of weeks
I like
ago.
that you set it up for me to have one, but you didn't tell me why I was having one.
Oh, I just figured if you wanted to use it, it's just...
And also,
Uh-oh.
a little bone to pick with you.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Well, obviously you guys have noticed there's been some absences. Sorry, I'm shedding. And it just, you never realize what the camera picks up until he's in editing.
Yep.
And then you find out that you're covered in hair. And since my hair's
Or
like
sweat.
fluoro orange, now you're always covered in sweat.
I am.
See, our studio's own little sweaty Betty. So,
Bone to pick.
Yeah, a bone. A proper bone.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a femur, but it's definitely not a humerus.
I got that, yeah.
Good. So, we have been gone for a while. We've had some shit.
We have.
Whew, so much shit. So, whilst we were in our separate corners dealing with our stuff, we couldn't catch up last week.
Mm-hmm.
And we kept missing each other and all this stuff. And then it came down to the wire, and I just was dealing with my grief in the only way I know how, and I couldn't get out of bed, so I just couldn't make it. And you said that you'll just film a little something to let people know that we'll be back next week, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. I did the Iggy.
Now, on what planet is those two videos just a little something to let people know we're going to be back next week?
Well, I was going to do that, and I thought, well, then I forgot to actually put up something saying we're...
Yeah.
So I thought, all right, I'll do a little bit of a makeup tutorial, and then my camera just kept on shutting off on me, so I ended
Just
up
kept
with
on filming.
4 of them, I think.
So, maybe we should remind Ziggy that there's another host to this show as well.
Well, there definitely is, and I really wanted to have you here as well. So I did send you a message, but you were dealing with stuff.
I was busy not showering and not getting out of bed.
Oh, them feels.
Oh, the grieving funeral feels. They're so great. Do you know, I think it's something... I found something out. I work for the government or whatever, and I'm lucky enough to get bereavement leave and moving leave and stuff like that. I never really thought about it because... I guess I've been lucky enough to not lose anybody in the past 6 years or so. But my grandfather passed away. And it kind of messed with my head anyway. There's some family stuff anyways. And when I called my boss's boss about it, he was going through the contract, and I got 1 day off with pay for bereavement. Now, I mean, look, I'm grateful for that because I'm from the States, so we don't get time off with pay for anything like that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to give someone time off with pay for bereavement, and they need to take that time off, they need to facilitate that bit of their contract, is 1 shift really enough?
No.
I mean, I'm
not.
appreciative of the shift with pay I got, but 1 shift.
Because I know Ali had a similar thing, because we've been going through our own stuff as well on top of that.
Yeah,
and
yours is a bit messier. Maybe later.
Really in depth, and I don't really want to discuss it, so
I
we
don't
just
think
won't.
you can yet.
No. She had to fight really hard just to get 2 days off, one either side of the weekend, so she could have a 4-day break. It's really hard to get any bereavement or,
Well, I mean, bereavement
anything.
is... I even looked up the definition of bereaved and bereavement because I was like, well... I mean, they're not assuming I'm going to the funeral because I told them it was a family member and I'm obviously foreign. Because I didn't need the time off to go to the funeral because funerals are for the living. They're not for the person that's passed. But then I just couldn't function for I mean, and that's coming off the back of all the other shit we talked about weeks ago and that we didn't talk about. We chose not to talk about.
That's right, yeah.
because all that's still going on too. So we've just kind of had a 2018.
Good start to the year. It's been amazing.
I feel like we're really glad to see 2017 go, because we thought that's it. This is it.
Yeah.
This year's going to be gangbusters.
But what I've noticed so far is from 2016 to now, at the end of every year, we get to New Year's and we go, this year's going to be fantastic. This coming year's going to be fantastic. And it just doesn't live up to expectations.
Well, I mean, you really kind of create your own destiny anyways, don't you? I mean, I didn't give my grandfather a stroke. Although, yeah, some of my family. So, yeah, I just thought that was a bit funny. Bereavement. Because you're bereavement, I think the definition was like mourning the loss of a friend or loved one through death or illness or something like that. I think that's the actual like Webster, Oxford's dictionary definition of bereaved. So much that I had to miss more than one day of work. One day. So then I just called in sick for the other 3 or 4, because I was sick, which I think is the same as sick.
Yep.
My chair's not really up enough.
It's not up enough.
Yeah.
Well, the table's too low now. The chair's too low.
No, I mean, it's like I didn't pull it. I'm just lazy.
Oh, okay. You didn't pull it in enough.
Yeah. So anywho.
So what are we doing today? Well, I guess I'll just
other than getting that off my chest.
now that that's done, today we're going to start talking about MK Ultra.
Why have a regular MK when you could have an MK Ultra?
Yeah. So we're going to start delving into MK Ultra. It's going to be probably 2 episodes.
It will be 2 episodes.
It might be more depending on how much we get through, but hopefully it's going to be done in 2 episodes. So shall we get straight into it, I guess?
We should. I think we have one more announcement to make though.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So I think so we film on Thursday, Fridays usually.
Yeah.
So I think tomorrow will be Friday.
Yep.
Filming time, not viewing time. And I think it'll be my 3rd week, won't it? Off of cigarettes.
Yes.
I'm really excited. A friend of mine gave me this little doodabby thing. Oh, just so you guys know, I'm not like turning into a zombie or anything. I don't know if this is coming up. Do you think it would be showing on the camera? It looks weird.
It might be. It's a bit of green.
I've scrubbed, but yeah, I've been doing some like mindfulness and my fingers have stained green. But anyway, yeah, it's a great thing. It was probably one of the best gifts I think someone could unwittingly give you.
Yeah.
Like, because the minute I started vaping, I have not really wanted a cigarette.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, because that's what you were saying, and I was like, bullshit. I love cigarettes more than I love air. Like, I used to, from the second I started smoking, I always said, I'll never quit. I love it. I know it's going to cause cancer, but at least I'm not on the anymore. So
yeah.
Cigarettes are here to stay, but man, I was hating smoking.
And I tried your vape when you first got it, and I
because you like the smell of that flavour, didn't you?
Yeah, so I tried it, and then I realised that I had a really shit mod. Yeah, so I had to update my mod as well. So I got a new.
Had to update it.
Well, I had to.
Well, I don't know if you heard it, but since you got your little update, that friend of mine that gave me this, which I try not to say my friends' names too often.
Yeah.
I don't want people to feel like I'm spreading their business. Anyway, she put like a way bigger thing and stuff on it. I don't know that is supposed to protect the glass or something.
Yeah, if you drop it, apparently it's supposed to protect the glass from shattering.
She put bigger things on it, so that's different somehow. Whatever.
It's cool. I do like it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we should.
Let's jump into MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Let me start this by saying, did I approach you about MK Ultra, or did you approach me?
No, you approached me,
this time
because
you brought it up in the past.
I had spoken about it in the past. Yeah.
What triggered me? Do you know what triggered me wanting to do this?
You started telling me about a couple of the celebrity conspiracies.
Oh, that's right. I was about to say, because I do not know how I ended up on this.
Yeah, which is going to be next week's episode, so stay tuned in for that one too.
Yeah, that's the part he's assigned me.
Well, you started researching, so I thought I'd do the history of.
Well, this is the bit that I was saying earlier. I started researching.
Yeah.
And the weirder this shit got, and the more f***ed up my shit got.
Yeah, it's heavy.
I'm glad Ziggie's taking the lead in this episode, because to be honest, the stuff that I did research and then cross-reference and go back and forth, it is so jumbled in my brain right now that I would just be like, and then just like shut down. So I'm just going to be learning with you guys. Again, because,
Okay.
it's really confusing.
It is, and it's very intense.
And I think we're going into this with you being like, you're full like on the conspiracy shit with the MK Ultra is a thing and it's happening, it's proven.
Well, that's what we're going to go into today, exactly right, because...
Yeah, because I'm like, this is complete and utter bullshit.
But I ended up on a CIA website to do with MK Ultra, so...
Of course you did.
I backed away.
It was some 16-year-old's website that, they made it look like a CIA
Well,
website.
if they've done that, they've done a very legit good job.
Well, graphics.
Yeah.
Computer words.
So, it starts off with the CIA app. There. So MK Ultra is the code name for a CIA program that experimented on behavioural engineering of humans from 1953 to 1973.
Now I have a question about that.
Yep.
That implies that the experimenting ended in 1973.
It does imply that.
Just saying.
Just
saying.
Keep that in your mind.
Just saying, internet. You're wrong there. If that's what this is going to say. Anyway.
Yeah. So MK Ultra. So MK is the Technical Service Division of the CIA, which was the sponsor of the project, and Ultra refers to previously to the most highly classified information of World War II intelligence.
Oh, it's ultra secret.
It's very secret.
Oh, you double dog dare you to tell that secret. Oh, I can't. It's an ultra secret.
It is. Fine.
Bunch of boys in a cubby house, aren't they? Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, MK Ultra was influenced by Operation Paperclip, which was run by the CIA in 1945. Its goal was to recruit former Nazi scientists who have done extensive research and experimentation on torture and mind control.
And twins, just for the record. For some reason, the Nazi scientists really liked twins.
They really did like twins, didn't they?
I know. I think it's because they wanted to, reproduce the race.
I guess it'd be a good way to start if you could double up every time.
Anyway.
So, apparently there were 12 hospitals and 3 prisons that were known to be participants in MK Ultra.
Where were these hospitals and prisons? Were they American hospitals and prisons?
They were American hospital and prisons for the most part. But there was also some work done in
12 hospitals,
Canada.
3 prisons?
12 hospitals, 3 prisons.
Don't you blaspheme about Canada in this studio. They've never done anything wrong.
Well, no, it was with the Americans.
Oh, for the Americans led them astray.
Yeah, as they do.
We don't want to upset the Australians, because you know how much they sympathise with Canada.
Yeah, that's right, we do. So I thought what I'd do is I'd go into a little bit of...
Sorry, night shift, I'm sorry.
I would go into a couple of the experiments that were done by MK Ultra, but I also have some information here. This is your copy.
By the way, guys, I'm allowed to read something off of here.
You are.
I was told... Last week he called me and told me what part he'd like for me to cover, even though I'd been researching it for weeks, so much that it drove me crazy. And then just moments ago he said, I have a bit that I'm going to need you to read, so...
Yeah. So I have here the... what you're looking at there is Ted Kennedy's Senate speech from 1977, which provides the
Isn't this one that reference? Yeah. I was like, isn't this the one that references Timothy Leary? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So are we preempting this by saying that this was... So who my voice will be...
This is Ted Kennedy.
Okay. Some 2 years ago, the Senate Health Subcommittee heard chilling testimony about the human experimentation activities of the Central Intelligence Agency. The Deputy Director of the CIA revealed that over 30 universities and institutions were involved in an extensive testing and experimentation program, which included covert drug tests on unwitting citizens at all social levels, high and low, Native Americans and foreign. Several of these tests involved the administration of LSD to unwitting subjects in social situations. At least one death, that of a Dr. Olson, resulted from these activities. The agency, is that the CIA?
Yeah.
The agency itself acknowledged that these tests made little scientific sense. Of course, they're on LSD, man. The agents doing the monitoring were not qualified scientific observers. The test subjects were seldom accessible beyond the first hours of the test. Well, they just cut them loose.
Yeah.
In a number of instances, the test subject became ill for hours or days, and effective follow-up was impossible. Now look, as someone that doesn't react very well with LSD, I found that out in the 90s. I can see how that could happen.
Yeah, but they were saying that the test records of all activities were destroyed in January 1973 at the instruction of the CIA director Richard Helms. So a lot of information cannot be found on it. Saying that, I did find roughly 1,500 documents in my research. Of course, I did not go through all of them because that would have just been a giant head. Thanks.
The thing is, it's no secret that microdosing LSD and MDMA and the psilocybin that's in mushrooms, microdosing that has shown effectively over and over and over that it does benefit people that are suffering with depression and this and that, microdosing, and it's testing that's been going on since the 50s. But I like how here it's like they have absolutely no they made no scientific sense. They weren't qualified scientific observers. It was just like the kid down the street that wears the baggy pants. Like, what? He's the only person that could get the LSD. God, guys, pull it together.
Yeah, well, I've got that in a couple of the outlines of the experiments, but I've also here got a list of the MK Ultra goals. But now I've watched these on the internet in a couple of videos, and
because you know the internet.
Yeah, and I've found there are sections that have actually been removed of videos.
Bum, bum, bum. You
So-
mean something on the internet's been edited?
Yeah, but like not what you would consider a person would do in their own editing, because it's very halfway through a sentence it gets cut off and then goes to the next thing.
I don't know.
So-
I've tried to edit before. I'm not very good.
But there is a massive list of 17 different dot points here of things that they were looking to achieve.
Do you do one for one?
Sure.
Since you've given me something to read.
We'll just do a few of them. We don't have to do all of them.
Pardon me. Okay, so you go first. I'll read until I find what I like.
So they're looking for substances which promote illogical thinking and impulsiveness to the point where the recipient would be discredited in public.
Okay. So two, I did a little bit of research on this because I don't know how much you read about this, but you know, the Hitler and the Nazis and amphetamines and all of that. So, and not just the Hitler youth and the German soldiers, but even back further, you know, giving soldiers and fighter pilots amphetamines. So
Yeah.
another thing, one of MK Ultra's goals was to find substances which increase the efficiency of mentation and perception. So an increased focus.
And I've heard of the Navy and things like that using medicinal marijuanas of some kind to help them focus, which I don't understand how.
What? The American Navy.
I don't know. I just heard, and this was a few years ago, something about the Navy. Who knows
Yeah,
what
the
that means.
Navy.
Yeah.
Medicinal uses of marijuana of some kind.
Of some kind, apparently,
To
was to help
maintain
them focus. Yeah. So also materials which will cause victims to age faster/slower.
Oh, it's Benjamin Button.
Immaturity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Benjamin buttoning, like everything.
Materials
apparently.
which will produce the signs and symptoms of recognized diseases in a reversible way so that they may be used for malingering. So like instead of having leprosy, your body just starts to attract chunks of flesh. I guess the reverse leprosy.
They had to test it to know if it worked or not. I guess.
It's like you're walking down the street and you've been subject to MK Ultra testing and you're like, oh, I've got two noses now. God, this is stupid.
So materials which will promote the intoxication effect of alcohol, and there was also another one to do the opposite. So to stop alcohol having an effect.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of this has to do. I think it's funny that this whole list of goals is about finding substances that can do all of these things. I liked the substances which promote weakness or distortion of the eyesight or hearing faculties, preferably without permanent effect. But I noticed 16 because I read some stuff about some of the drugs that we used in the 90s as party drugs.
Yep.
There was a whole big MK Ultra thing going on back then because I had a lot of like. Oh, do you remember the skate brand Alien Workshop? Was that a thing here, Alien Workshop?
I've got
Anyway,
no idea.
back in the early 90s, there was a skate brand, Alien Workshop. And, you know, aliens, which feeds into conspiracy, which feeds into government, which feeds into blah, 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 blah. But when Rohypnol started going around, I mean, like, real Rohypnol, like 92 to 95 Rohypnol, not whatever people are calling the date rape drug now.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of their goals is a knockout pill, which can be surreptitiously administered in drinks, food, cigarettes, or as an aerosol, etc., which will be safe to use, provide a maximum of amnesia, and be suitable for use by agent types on an ad hoc basis. An agent type. That's very Maxwell Smart, isn't it? You be Maxwell Smart, I'll be 99, I'll hunker. Agent types.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're not trying to date rape anyone, you're just an agent type.
Just getting around doing the agent type thing. Yes, I'll be another. What is that? Agent types on an ad hoc basis.
Yeah, well, they did state in the other bit that we're reading of Ted Kennedy's that it wasn't necessarily performed by scientists or anything like that. Which actually, I'm going to skip right through to talk about that one to Project Midnight Climax, which you don't have any information on. But
Climax.
it's a funny name with a reason.
And then the project that followed directly after that was Project Hoagie Refractory Period.
I'm sure. So it was based out of at least 3 safe houses in San Francisco. It was set up to test the effects of LSD on unsuspecting American citizens.
Oh, in San Francisco, they were expecting it. Oh, wait. Project Midnight
Climax.
I'm going to name my first child that.
So testing began in 1955 with prostitutes being paid by the government. Well, sorry, I'm just reading from what was actually written on
Well, that's good, but they wrote that a long time ago.
They did.
So
So
what do
let's
we call them now?
Now we're going to call them Ladies of the Night.
No, you can't.
Escorts. So testing began in...
Sex workers.
So we got sex workers as well?
Yes.
Okay. With sex workers being paid by the government to dose clients while CIA agents secretly observed.
They should have used Eileen Wuornos for that. 20 years before.
That could have been handy.
I mean, that we can time travel.
Yeah.
Clearly. I mean, all the other shit that we supposedly can do.
So experiments soon expanded with agents secretly dosing civilians at beaches, bars and restaurants.
Were they agents or were they agent types?
I think they were agent
And they
types.
do it systematically or ad hoc?
I don't know.
And you said that these are real documents you found.
Well,
some of this phrasing, I question it.
But yeah, but I also think like if you're putting it in actual documents, you try to make it as vague as possible.
All you have to do is put some things on a file, and that's a document. This is a document.
That's true. So prior to the San Francisco operation, simulate experiments were conducted in New York City. Those experiments ended after US biological warfare specialist Frank Olson, who was mentioned in
Dr. Olson is the one that died.
jumped or was pushed from a 10th floor hotel window in 1953.
While he was doing some of those LSD tests.
9 days after CIA secretly dosed him with LSD at a research retreat.
CIA, they are shady motherfuckers. I wonder what power, like, because back then the CIA didn't have, well, back then, whatever time frame we're talking about, the CIA didn't really have to answer to anything that they did.
No.
Remember, because we talked about that during the, it's hay fever season. Because we talked about that during the Kennedy assassination, that back then the CIA pretty much just had free reign to do whatever they'd have to. It was kind of like a don't ask, don't tell. You don't want to know what we're getting into.
And that's kind of why I also believe it, is because I know that they had their fingers in many pies, and those pies don't exist.
You can't have your finger in an imaginary pie.
That's right. So they also did experiments with uppers and downers using.
Haven't we all?
But they did it on a hardcore, like extreme level. They used a combination of amphetamines and barbiturates in interrogation techniques.
Yeah, it's called speedballing.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's what killed the Belushi.
Subjects would have an IV in both arms.
Oh shit.
One arm
one
with
with the amphetamines, one with the barbiturate.
Yep. Barbiturates were first administered until the subject was sedated and almost asleep. Then they would.
And then they'd peg them with the amphetamines?
Yep. And it will make them wide awake and... So they said persons would start babbling incoherently, but at certain times it was possible to ask questions and get useful answers.
So maybe that was like during the development stages or pre or after like the sodium pentothal thing. But I mean, really, we've all talked to a crackhead, right? Like, we've all had a conversation with a crackhead.
You can't believe a word.
Even if it's coherent, like, you're just kind of going, And, like, I mean, as someone that has had a lot of pseudoephedrine and epinephrine administered for medical purposes, of course, man, that stuff makes you feel like shit. And your emotions are just like, ooh! And so I don't think they would have gotten much useful out of those people.
And I think that's why they were saying, like, the experimentation that they were working on just in the long run did not work out because LSD was giving such mixed results.
Well, hallucinogenics have that effect on people.
Yeah. So, next we have the Canadian experiment, because I figure we'll go into that soon when we talked about Canada before. So from 1957 to 1964...
57 to 64?
Yeah. Was the Canadian experiment.
It was all very mild and friendly.
So it was a Scottish psychiatrist, Donald Cameron, head scientist who travelled to Canada.
From Scotland.
Yep, and he travelled to Canada to do these experiments. The technique was known as psychic driving.
Ooh! Oh, yes.
Now,
okay, here we go.
I've done a little bit on psychic driving before, like I did a bit of research myself. So subjects would be given paralytic drugs and then exposed to hundreds of thousands of repetitions of recorded statements.
Yes, or photographs.
Or photographs.
So those of you out there that are old enough to have actually seen this, you know, like Clockwork Orange.
Yes, yeah.
That's, because you know that's, well, anyway.
It's pretty well based.
That?
Oh, okay.
No, that's Hollywood stuff, man.
That's Hollywood stuff.
Get out of my closet.
Okay, so yeah, so similar to what happened in Clockwork Orange. So
so gnarly.
Cameron later explored.
Need a hint of that word? Cameron later explored depatterning.
Yeah, depatterning, which involves electroshock, sensory deprivation, and large doses of LSD to break down a subject's personality, which then theoretically can be replaced.
Okay, so I see that you're going into the Canadian experiments, but I also know that this is quite. I'm so sorry, guys. Just no shame here at the studio. No shame today. I just can't breathe out of that nostril. There's like a big booger in the way. The Canadian experiments. Sorry, I'm just gonna say a little bit about some research I've done, even though I'm not allowed to talk today. That feeds into the whole like the trauma triggered
Sleeper agents?
No. Well, I figured this particular branch that we could possibly very easily slip into, we save the next episode.
Yeah.
Because right now we're going into all of these like chemical experiments and stuff like that. But when you start talking about the breaking down of someone's will and personality, that's when you start going into the
stuff that you're going to be talking about.
Well, we'll both be talking about, because I think this is going to last a while because there's so many facets to this.
There is.
So, I was just like, don't say anything else about that.
So, and apparently patients would enter the institutions that they were doing these experiments for minor problems such as anxiety disorders and
hysteria, female hysteria.
That's what it was back then, wasn't it? Hysteria, and left with amnesia and the inability to speak. Well, yeah. That is plausible.
It's totally plausible. I mean, you look at, they're dosing these people with, you know, stimulants, barbiturates, LSD, heaps of other stuff that they didn't have names for yet.
Yep.
You know, they're trying to Benjamin Button people.
Yep.
And there are people that are already a bit fragile. I'm not surprised they came out kind of scrambled. Which was good, because that's how they needed them to start with. If you feed into this crap.
Which I do. I really do.
Yeah, but you can't believe in a Pegasus every now and again, or a Bigfoot. But he believes in MK Ultra.
I do believe in MK Ultra. So yeah, there is a lot more information that I could go into, but we're running short on time.
Well, we're not really running short on time. We've just decided to give it to you little bits at a time, feed it to you a little bit at a time, so you can research it. Unlike some of the other stuff that we've done, where we've just been like heavy, and then
yeah, yeah, because this doesn't. understand that it'll take it out of you, and it also takes it out of us as well, because there is so
Look
much
at me, I'm a mess. I got a booger. I'm on vapes. Ugh.
Life's hard.
I don't have eyeliner on. Didn't have a cool cup.
I do. Shane Dawson has a similar mug to this one in his coffee area. We've now got a little coffee area of our own. But yeah.
Who the f*** is Shane Dawson?
You don't know who Shane Dawson is?
Nah.
Oh. I thought everyone knew who Shane Dawson was. He's another fellow conspirer. He loves conspiracies. Talks
Good
a lot
for
about
Shane.
them. Yeah.
Is he local or?
Local to America, yeah.
Oh, I love it when he's a smart ass. So he's American.
He's from Los Angeles. Well, I think he lives in Los Angeles.
Oh, is he a YouTuber?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, I'm so shocked I don't know who he is. Anyway, so yeah, intense.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't
Very
seem
intense.
intense, and it doesn't seem like we gave you heaps of information really today.
It doesn't.
But it is.
Yeah.
Because we gave you a few trigger things to research, if you care to. If not, skip the next couple of episodes. Or maybe we'll break it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
MK Ultra may become one of those rolling themes because it's just so much, and you believe so much of it, and I don't. So it's going to be one of those things that's going to go round and round and round.
Yeah. That is. I cannot believe that our government is 100% truthful to us. So there's stuff that we don't know.
No! No government's truthful except for maybe North Korea.
They got one thing right.
And they don't have anything to say about it, you know, they
Yeah.
can't. No, the government lies about everything. Even our news is filtered. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So we can't go into that because, you know,
Yeah.
we're listening.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, some of this stuff, come on. I mean, look, it's fun to have a bit of a laugh and go, but seriously, guys, use your noggin.
Yep. And if you want to do research, do your own research.
Please,
but
do heaps. Ziggy reckons you have to be careful the pages you go on.
yeah, they can pages that look very official. So just be careful on what you're researching.
I had a friend whose mum once wouldn't go on websites that she thought looked Russian.
Okay, fair enough.
This is in the past 5 years. 10 years. Not during the Cold War, mind you.
Good, well, they didn't have internet back then.
But she would look, but she would go end up on a website and she would go, ooh, does this look Russian to you?
It's about babushka dolls, probably.
I don't know. I don't know if it looks Russian. But yeah, because she fully had been raised in that whole like Cold War Russian spy thing.
Yeah.
But anyways. So yeah, MK Ultra, it's intense.
Yep. It really
We've only
is.
just barely touched on it, but we're back now. So we're back, we're flapping free. Hopefully next week, that little booger's not going to be in there. It's not little, it's huge.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've just noticed now that I've actually got one sitting up here a little bit
It's like
further
up
too.
behind my nose ring, it's poking me.
Yeah. Good crusties, they're great.
Filthy. So, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Ugh, our future is at your totally befuddled fingertips.
My fingertips are really confused. I don't know if you can tell, but they are. Anyway, thanks for joining us again
Yeah,
this
it's weird.
week. Really, I'm gonna.
Yeah, sure, why not? It's not cigarettes.
Yep. And
I don't know what the rules are now. So.
we're just being open with it. So.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Everybody already knows I'm one of those people, so.
Yep. So now we're vape douches together. I'm glad I'm not
Simmer
my
down,
own.
simmer down. I have a vape pusher that takes care of all my douchery for me, so.
Yeah. So you
I
don't have to.
I
vape
just
douche.
get it, and then I'm like, okay, plug it into my computer. Excellent. I don't have to buy cigarettes anymore.
Yep. Yeah, where I get really douchey and I mix my own flavors and stuff.
Oh
days.
yeah, I get to give contributions about what kind of flavors I think might be good.
Yeah.
I think this one's like a sugar cookie with a bit of vanilla and a touch of coconut. Apparently, just got it this morning. Anyway,
I've tried some that are really gross, so you just got to kind of work your way through it.
man,
and find
I
out the
turned
good
on
ones.
that pug life there at the end.
So that's what I
Did
was.
it go kind of oniony?
I just found that all I could taste after a while, because it's watermelon and
It's
and-
watermelon. It's like watermelon lolly or something. It's like a watermelon gummy and grape and mint or something like that.
or yeah,
Something.
It's-
Water bear. I don't know.
but it's got menthol in it of some kind,
It has a finish of menthol. Yeah.
and that finish of menthol is
For
now
sure.
all I can taste.
Mine went a bit oniony. It's weird.
Yeah.
You
Fake
go
tongue.
off on vape tongue apparently. Alright. Sorry.
Alright, so thank
We're
you.
just glad to be back.
We
haven't
really
seen
are.
each other in a while.
We're, yeah, and
back
it's,
in the studio.
and it's looking alright. I mean, the floor
Yeah.
needs to be swept, but
Since he
it's looking
showed
good.
you guys around, which I feel like I probably should have been involved in that. Anyway, will Ziggy take this on board and not do it anymore? Positively.
Nice.
All right. We will see you guys in a week. In the meantime, research MK Ultra, but look out for the dark web.
Yeah, or CIA websites. Anyway.
Anyway,
Bye!